Ever wondered what really keeps a business from falling apart? It's not luck, and it's definitely not magic. Today, we're diving into the secret sauce, something called internal controls. We'll unpack a really cool framework that helps protect a company from, well, from everything from simple slip-ups to major fraud. Let's get into it.
All right, so here's what we've got on tap. First, we'll get a handle on what internal controls even are. Then we're going to unpack this awesome acronym, SPAMSOAP. Yep, you heard that right, one letter at a time. After that, we'll see how it all works in the real world with a cool example at a boutique. And finally, we'll wrap up with why this whole thing is so important for any business out there.
So let me ask you something. Have you ever wondered how businesses, stop things from going wrong? How do they prevent theft, catch fraud, or even just stop simple mistakes from snowballing into huge problems? It's a great question, because it seems like a really complex puzzle, right? But believe it or not, there's a system for exactly that. And that system is what the pros call internal controls. Now, that might sound a little formal, but all that really means is the collection of processes and procedures that a company uses to do three really important things. Number one, protected stuff. We're talking cash, inventory, equipment, you name it. Number two, make sure the financial books are actually accurate. And number three, stay on the right side of the law. Simple as that.
Okay, so how on earth are you supposed to remember all the different pieces of a good control system? Well, that's where this fantastic and kind of funny memory trick comes in. It's called the SPAMSOAP Model. And yes, it's a real thing. It's a super handy tool that accountants and auditors use all the time to make sure all the bases are covered. So let's break it down letter by letter. First step, S is for segregation of duties. And trust me, this one is huge. The basic idea is simple. You never, ever let one person control a whole transaction from start to finish. I mean, think about it. If the same person can approve a payment, record it in the books, and handle the actual cash, well, that's just asking for trouble, right? It's a massive temptation. So by splitting up those key jobs, like who authorizes, who records, and who holds the asset, you create a natural system of checks and balances.
All right, next up is P for physical controls. And this is exactly what it sounds like. It's the stuff you can literally see and touch. We're talking about all the physical things a business does to protect its property. You know, the classics. Locks on the doors, security cameras, a big old safe for the cash, locked up rooms for valuable inventory. It's all about putting up actual physical barriers to keep the company's assets safe.
Our first A stands for Authorization and Approval. It basically means that certain things can't happen without the right person giving the green light. A classic example is setting spending limits. Maybe a team member can expense lunch, but if you want to buy $1,000 worth of new equipment, that's going to need a manager's signature. It's all about making sure the big decisions have the right eyes on them.
Then we have M for management controls. Now, this isn't about managers micromanaging every little thing. It's about taking a step back and looking at the big picture. This is where management rolls up their sleeves and really digs into the financial reports. They're comparing what actually happened to what they budgeted. They're looking for weird trends, things that don't add up. When they spot something off, they investigate. It's proactive, not reactive.
Our second S is for supervision. So if management controls were the 30,000-foot view, supervision is the boots on the ground. This is all about that day-to-day oversight. It's having someone there to make sure people are following the rules, doing their jobs the right way, and catching little mistakes before they become big ones. It's about guidance, training, and just being present.
O is for organization. Think of this like the company's blueprint. You need a clear structure. Who reports to whom? What is each person actually responsible for? Having a solid organizational chart and really clear job descriptions is key. Without it, you get chaos, confusion, and people saying, I thought they were doing that. A good structure makes sure everyone knows their role and is accountable. And our second A is for Arithmetical and Accounting Controls. This is where the magic of numbers comes in. These are the checks and balances that are literally built into the accounting system itself to keep everything honest and accurate. We're talking about things like bank reconciliations, where you make sure your records match what the bank says. It's all about verifying the math and using the system to essentially let the numbers check themselves.
And last but definitely not least, P stands for personnel. And you could argue this is the most important one of the entire model. Seriously, you can have all the best systems, locks, and reports in the world, but if you don't have good, trustworthy people, none of it matters. This is all about hiring the right staff, doing background checks, providing great training, and having clear policies so everyone knows what's expected of them ethically and professionally.
Okay, that's a lot of theory, right? So let's make this real.
We're going to see how Spam Soap works in the wild by visiting a hypothetical small business. Let's call it Style Corner, a cool little clothing boutique. The owner, Sarah, is smart, and she wants to make sure her business is protected. So, let's see how she uses this model.
So, for segregation of duties, Sarah has this simple but brilliant rule. At the end of the day, the cashier counts up all the money. But, and this is the key part, they don't take it to the bank. A manager comes in, verifies that count is correct, and then that manager makes the deposit. See? By splitting that job, it makes it almost impossible for one person to skim from the till and hide it.
Now for physical controls. Sarah sells some pretty pricey clothes, so she's not messing around. She's got security cameras and a proper alarm system. Every night, the day's cash goes into a locked safe that only managers can access. And that back room with all the extra inventory? Always locked. Just simple, smart ways to protect her physical assets. When it comes to authorization and approval, Sarah's got a firm policy on refunds. If it's a small return, a sales associate can handle it, no problem. But for any refund over $100, nope. A manager has to approve it and enter a special code. This stops any shenanigans like giving unauthorized refunds to friends or processing fake returns to pocket cash. And here's how Sarah uses management controls. Every single month, she personally goes over the sales reports. And she's not just glancing at the bottom line, she's comparing the real sales numbers to her budget. If she notices, say, that dress sales are way down, she digs in. Is it a problem with the display? Is it a stocking issue? It helps her spot potential issues before they become disasters. For that day-to-day supervision, Sarah makes sure there's always a manager on the floor. Their job isn't just to sit in an office. They're out there, watching how customer service is going, making sure cash register procedures are being followed, and just generally being a visible presence. It keeps everything running like a well-oiled and secure machine. Sarah's boutique is also a great example of good organization. She has a super clear org chart. You've got sales associates, a store manager. Everyone has a defined role with specific responsibilities. There's no confusion about who's in charge of what. This creates a culture of accountability, which is so important. For the Arithmetical and Accounting Controls, Sarah really leans on her tech. The store's point-of-sale system is set up to automatically calculate taxes and discounts, which cuts way down on human error. Then, every night, the cash in the drawer has to match the report from that system to the penny. And on top of that, her accountant does a full bank reconciliation every month, making sure everything is perfectly aligned. And finally, personnel. Sarah knows her business is only as good as her people. So when she hires, she does her homework, background checks, calling references, the whole deal. And once someone's on the team, they get mandatory training on all the store's policies, especially cash handling. Plus, there's a clear code of conduct. It all helps build a team she can really trust. Okay, so we've seen all these pieces work together at Style Corner, which brings us to the big question. Why does any of this really matter? I mean, isn't it just a big list of rules? Well, no. It's actually way more powerful than that. And this really gets to the heart of it. The SPAMSOAP model isn't just some checklist. It's a holistic approach to running a safe, secure, and efficient business. Every single one of these 8 pieces works together. They support each other to create this strong web of protection. And look, is any system perfect? Of course not. But a business that uses these principles dramatically cuts down its risk of getting hit by fraud or costly mistakes. It's about building a business that's built to last. So, I'll leave you with a final thought to chew on. Think about your own job, or even a store you visit all the time. After hearing all this, what's the one control you think that place absolutely could not function without? What's the linchpin holding it all together? It's a fun way to see this stuff in action all around you. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.